beard pedophile grin. Hello everyone and welcome to an Anime Club After Dark special. I'm your host Alex, but you can call me Senpai, and joining me tonight I have our chivalry of Shota's Shotaro.
Yas, bish.
Yes, bish. I guess it's better than a dish. And tonight we are going to be doing our 6th episodic review of Sarazanmai show.
Me.
Not a whole lot happened in this. This episode was mostly action. But some memorable things did occur. I'm tempted to start out with the Kepi pole dance.
That's your favorite moment from the.
It was the first time. Like I've had moments watching this where I've chuckled watching it, but this is the first time I actually had to stop the stream because I was laughing so hard. It's like
it was pretty funny.
It was a thing. It was a thing, and it's the way he sells it too. It's like pole dance.
I like how it's like so like to the side of the screen in the background. He's just like transforms into the form of a woman and is pole dancing with like stripper heels.
There was a lot of just seemingly random. Of course, as we have seen, especially in the last episode, it may not necessarily always be random.
Are you saying that Kepi pole dancing will be relevant to the plot?
No, but I am saying that the Kappa sumo wrestling maybe.
What? What do you mean?
I don't know. I
Oh
want
my
it to be
God.
so bad. I really do
What do
want
you
it to be.
mean?
Because I thought it was really well done.
What? What are you talking about? It was so stupid.
It was stupid, and that's why I loved it.
It was funny, but it was also dumb.
I don't know, and I like the fact that Inta has to like hurt himself after it's over to
Oh my God.
realize that he's not hallucinating.
That was funny though. That he got like
He got physically turned on by sumo wrestling with
by
Kazuki,
being kneed in the balls.
and he's like his skin is rubbing up against Kazuki. He's like, "Oh no, I'm having a crisis."
And like they're in Kappa form, so it's all like it's like Kappa skin. It was like gross.
Yeah, and then he ends up getting kneed in the balls, and it's like, yes.
And he gets a nice wedgie.
Yeah.
Oh, you sad baby gay.
Just the amount of shenanigans that went on in this episode was very entertaining. Again, seemingly random stuff. Some of it I'm hoping gets some kind of explanation as to why. Although I don't actually hold out hope that the Kappa sumo wrestling or the pole dancing is ever going to be explained.
What needs to be explained?
I
It's all
don't know.
Right there.
Something else that happens in this show that was on display full force in this particular episode was that Kepi seems to become whatever is necessary for the plot whenever shit goes down.
That's true. We didn't see that
like-
before. Is this like the first episode that happened?
Oh, it's the first episode where he turned into a telephone.
Oh my God. It was so... I laughed when like Kazuki pulled out his cell phone from his Kappa shell. Like he used it as a storage device, like a doll or like an action figure. Oh my God. That was pretty fun. That was so random. That was out of nowhere.
That was random. It's like some secret storage area you find on a fucking figure you buy or whatever. I don't know.
It's like how gay people use their asshole, right?
I'm going to glance right over that and move on to the next thing. Jesus, why do you do this? Because now I'm fucking laughing. Jesus Christ. Anyway, so when I did want to point out something really quick. When Kepi becomes a phone and he makes that noise, that
oh my God, that was so extra.
Something very, very similar to that sound happens in JoJo's Part 5, which is currently airing. Where there's a character in JoJo's Part 5 who's a bipolar schizophrenic, and he he talks to one of the personalities that's in his head by pretending that there's a phone nearby, and he grabs anything that's even vaguely phone shaped and uses it as a phone. And one of the things he tries to use as a phone is a frog in JoJo's Part 5, and he makes almost that exact same sound, although just higher pitched. So he's going
Interesting.
So I'm gonna like step back and say maybe it's a JoJo's reference, maybe it's not. I don't know.
What isn't a JoJo's reference?
Everything's a JoJo's reference if you try hard enough. So something that does actually happen in this episode is Kazuki's adopted brother, Haruka, ends up getting kidnapped by Reo, who's one of the otter people.
The otter people. That sounds
I don't know.
Racist.
It does slightly, doesn't it? But I don't care.
Wow.
I don't know. I keep saying Kawauso, but you think it's overused.
Because you could just say otters.
Sure. I'm gonna say otter people because I want to be vaguely racist.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So Reo ends up kidnapping Haruka and has like this this dialogue with Haruka about his relationship with the other otter person, whose name is Meibu. And it almost sounds like they have a similar relationship with each other as Haruka and Kazuki do.
I mean, I guess so. I would say that the policeman relationship is clearly sexual, whereas
you want Kazuki and Haruka's relationship to be sexual. Don't lie.
I really don't, but the show wants it. No, no, but like I was gonna say, the policeman relationship is clearly sexual, and then the Haruka Kazuki relationship is clearly platonic. But the show keeps like pushing the similarities between the two. So I don't know what the show was trying to say.
I don't know, but anyway, Haruka ends up getting kidnapped by Reo in an attempt to extract the desire out of Haruka.
Okay, like right before he kidnapped him, he had this really creepy smile on his face. It's like, oh, you have desire.
Very creepy stalker pedophile grin.
Yeah. And Haruka's just like, what's wrong?
I'm falling asleep. Yeah, that was creepy. Yeah. That was a creepy grin. That's like, that's neckbeard pedophile grin right there.
Oh my.
But what ensues, because the three main characters, Kazuki, Toei, and Enta, are still trapped as kappas. They still have this. They're still trapped in this form, so they have to go back and finish fighting the
zombie.
Zombie. Thank you. I always want to call him Ghost. For fuck's sake, I don't know why I want to call him Ghost every single time, but I do. And that's the first time we actually see that, where they face the same Kappa zombie twice.
Yeah, they abridged the fight.
Yeah, they did.
He got anally beated twice. What a lucky zombie.
What a lucky zombie. You're right. But then what ensues is this basically like this chase through, I'm going to call it like a shipping factory, because that's exactly what it looks like.
Oh my god, you forgot about how they got to the shipping factory.
That's true. They go through like the fucking sewers to get there.
Yeah.
And there's hieroglyphics on the walls of the sewers for some reason.
They're like Egyptian hieroglyphics with the kappas instead of like the Egyptian deities, which
and all of this is under the guise of Kepi like relating the tale of the kappa.
Oh my god, that was so funny. It was like funny because kappa are like actually historically relevant to Japan, but they didn't make it Japanese. They're just like, oh, it's like historically relevant to like some random other culture, but like, but it is relevant to Japanese culture. So I don't know. They're just being stupid. They're just being funny, which I did find funny. So.
Yeah, it was random, but it was very funny. So can we talk for a moment about this little otter factory thing that's going on in here, and how fucking good it looked?
Okay. I wouldn't say it looked amazing, but I would say that it is a good way to use CG because it wasn't jarring as CG usually is.
Hmm.
So it actually like made sense in the
Especially the transition between traditional and CG, it wasn't as jarring.
yeah, and especially because what was CG was like a mechanical factory line, which you would
Hmm.
expect to look kind of CG aesthetic.
Yeah.
So it made sense, and it meshed well with the scene, so it was good.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was like ufotable levels of good CG. However, I would say it was maybe a step and a half down. So I think that's high praise for CG done by anyone who's not ufotable.
See, it wasn't terrible, and the standard for CG is being terrible. So in that way,
Yeah,
it is good because we have such low standards.
yeah, maybe. I just think that anything that's not terrible is better than what we get, so I'm happy for it. um, I thought it looked pretty damn good for how it was utilized, and I think it's a proper way to utilize CG. Like utilize CG for stuff that CG should be utilized for. Don't try to utilize it for every little thing.
Yeah,
Because
like
the entire thing wasn't CG. A lot of it was, but the stuff that was like stationary and not moving, that was not CG.
yeah, don't use CG for the Colossal Titan. Use CG for the Otter Factory. That's all I have to say.
Or uh, yeah, I mean, utilize it for things that it should be utilized. A good example, although this isn't anything related to Sarazanmai, is the CG that was used in the remake of Legend of Athletic Heroes. That was great because they were using CG on things that should have been CG animated.
Yeah, machines.
Exactly. I I don't know. But anyway, I was very happy with how it was utilized in here. That it wasn't jarring when they switched between the two, and they were frequently switching back and forth between the two. Um, so something we learned about in this episode was what happens when you actually lose your Shurikodama, as in it gets destroyed.
Yeah.
So you have an explanation for this that's very interesting and relevant to
Um.
Japanese culture.
Hmm.
Just go ahead and say it.
Oh
You
wait,
know you
wait.
want
So
to.
okay, no. So we realized that removing the Shirikodama means that you cease to exist in the past as well as the present. So your memories and your like actions in your life never actually happened, and everybody forgets you. Which was kind of hinted at in the episode where Ento was hallucinating. I think that was like episode 3.
Episode 3, yeah.
Yeah, when like his sister's boyfriend became a Kappa zombie, and then when they like put the beads in his ass, um, he disappeared from her picture with him. So it was kind of hinted like that, but now we know for sure that that's what happens. And to me, this phenomena reminded me of the Japanese phenomena of being spirited away, which on
Not the movie.
fuck you. Okay, which on paper being spirited away means being taken away by a god. But I find in a lot of Japanese media, like anime and manga, spiriting away involves like ceasing to exist. And one example I can think of is in ReZero.
By the way, I want to point out we're about to spoil a very major
No.
plot point in the middle of ReZero's
No.
first season.
Now that you pointed out, I'm not gonna spoil it. So I'm just
No,
gonna
just
say
do it. I've given the warning.
no,
Do it.
No, I don't want to say it anymore. But someone gets spirited away in ReZero, and everybody forgets about who that person is, and whether they actually existed or not. So, yeah. So like I've seen it in other manga and anime, and I feel like it's like a common trope. So I just thought that was interesting that they also used it.
Yeah. I also like to point out that when I watched this particular scene and we learned that this is what happens, I was also reminded of an old movie called It's a Wonderful Life. And something that happens in that is a guy is contemplating suicide, and a guardian angel comes down and shows him how the people that he has been in contact with throughout his whole life, his family, his friends, what their lives would be like if he had never existed. So it's sort of similar to that in a way too. That's what I thought of when I saw this, though. I know you haven't seen that movie, you pleb.
Wow. But it's definitely a phenomenon we see in Western media as well. But I just wanted to specifically talk about anime and manga because being spirited away is a Japanese concept, even though like being spirited away doesn't mean not existing, but for some reason the two are related. I find from experience of just reading or watching anime.
Well, they seem to be related more often than not.
Yeah.
Something else that happened is Kazuki and Enta ended up being the golden duo again.
Oh my god. I just found that so funny that like they Enta technically passed the Kepi ball to Kazuki. So he finally received it.
Again him Kepi becoming what the plot needs him to be.
So does that? I mean, Kepi also became a parachute.
A parachute, yeah. Because Kepi ends. So the way that they actually end up saving Haruka from going to like this fucking shredder machine, is by throwing this ball Kepi over above the machine and having Kepi catch Haruka, turn into a parachute, and then kind of flow gracefully down.
So does this mean that Enta is the shooter and Kazuki is the receiver in their relationship?
Maybe. You really want it to happen, don't you?
I mean, it's already happened in fan art, so...
Okay, well... That's fucking canon. And the flashback that we got in this was actually I guess you would say a Haruka flashback?
Yes.
Because we find out that the reason Haruka even knows about Kazuki's biological mom is because Haruka's met his biological mom.
Yeah, so we know how Haruka got the sachet.
Yeah.
He followed Kazuki when he first met the mom. And then he met the mom after Kazuki left. Yeah. Which was that was all implied. You had to like... And
I also I don't know this for a fact. I wonder if it will be expounded on in a future episode. But I wonder if he actually stole the sachet.
It's not specifically shown how he gets the sachet. I just like assumed like she dropped it and then he picked it up.
Maybe, or he could have stolen it. I don't know.
That's very aggressive for Haruka.
Maybe.
And I don't know what motivation he would have for stealing the sachet.
I don't either. But we do know that from the flashback, Haruka deeply regrets what he did.
Well, what he did that he regrets specifically, I think, is that, like, he yelled at the mom and he said, like, don't take Kazuki away or something along those lines. Yeah. And that's, in Haruka's mind, that's why he thinks Kazuki is being so distant with him, because he thinks that Kazuki's mad that Haruka yelled at Kazuki's biological mom, which is not the case, but that's what Haruka
But it's how it's perceived by him.
Yeah.
And then we have the end title card, I want to connect so I'm not giving up, because in this episode it's almost as if Kazuki had given up on being a brother to Haruka, but because of I'm gonna say friendship with Enta and Toei, who end up making they actually force him not to give up his own life to save Haruka's.
So depressing.
It's almost as if he gets like this sort of a second wind kind of thing. It's like, all right, well, if this is the way it's going to be, I won't give up on this relationship.
Yeah, he's forced to confront his brother, and he finally finds the will actually move past the past and start anew. Which is really nice. It's really hard hitting. The end title cards are always so hard hitting.
Yeah, it is.
So emotional.
I mean, it's like they say sometimes you have to hit rock bottom before you can make your life better.
I didn't even because they're in Kappa form, I think it's all they're all acting stupid, but some serious shit goes down in Kappa form.
Oh yeah, especially these last couple episodes, some serious shit.
Yeah, I mean, in the last episode, he was crying and breaking down in Kappa form, saying how he's a horrible brother, and he crippled his little brother, and now he's basically attempting suicide, going down into the whatever that is, into the grinder. And I'm I mean, this is some pretty serious shit, but it's it seems comical because they're Kappas. So
yeah, it's a great contrast where they're drawn in a very comical way, but yet there's some serious shit going on. It's a great artistic contrast to me.
It's very jarring. This entire show is very jarring in many ways.
Yes, but it's very interesting. I would say so far, so we're just over halfway through the show now because there's only going to be 11 episodes. We're on episode 6 now. It's certainly, of the shows for this that we've had this spring season, it's one of the most interesting so far.
It's definitely a standout show of not just season, just in general.
Yeah, I did not expect to enjoy it this much going in. Now that we're halfway through it, I don't know what my final opinion is going to be, but right now it's so interesting. I want to keep going.
If it keeps up all these plot twists and it has a decent ending that makes sense, well, that makes a little sense, then it'll be great. But I don't know. It has a lot going on. It might just crash and burn.
Maybe. We'll have to wait and see. And on that note, I'm going to end the episode 6 review right there. Thank you all out there for dropping in to listen to us. We hope you enjoyed it because we always enjoy bringing this stuff to you. If you want to check out previous episodes of the podcast, you can find us on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify. If you want to keep up with what we're doing, you can join us on Discord, Facebook, Twitter, and our website. And as always, shoot us an email if you have any questions or comments, or if you have any ideas for topics you would like us to talk about in the future. Links to all these things will be down below in the description. I have been your host, Alex, and I will see you next time. Say goodnight, show.
Oh, I think I'm getting a call from my ass. Just end the podcast.